Bakuga's eye twitched as he followed the receptionist down yet another winding hallway. How fucking big was this place? And why did it smell like burnt coffee and desperation? Here we are, sir, the woman chirped, gesturing to a door at the end of the hall. Your technician will be with you shortly. He grunted in response, shouldering past her into the workshop. The door swung shut behind him with a soft click, leaving him alone in the chaos. And chaos it was. Workbenches overflowed with half-finished projects and scattered tools. Blueprints and schematics papered the walls, covered in scribbled notes and calculations. The air hummed with the buzz of machinery and the faint scent of ozone. Bakuga's lip curled. Looked like a fucking tornado had hit the place. How the hell was anyone supposed to work in this mess? But as he looked closer, he started to see a method to the madness. Each workbench seemed dedicated to a specific project, the tools arranged for easy access. The blueprints on the walls were grouped by hero, their notes color-coded and organized. It was chaos, yeah, but it was efficient chaos. Things were better cleanly organized. He prowled the perimeter of the room, eyes sharp for any sign of incompetence. A half-assembled gauntlet caught his attention, its inner workings exposed. He leaned in for a closer look. The design was intricate, the craftsmanship precise. It wasn't bad. Not bad at all. A loud crash from the hallway made him whip around. The door flew open, revealing a woman struggling with an armful of equipment. Sorry about that, she called over her shoulder to someone out of sight. I've got it under control. She kicked the door shut behind her and turned, freezing when she saw him. Her eyes widened for a fraction of a second before her face settled into a professional mask. Dynamite, she said, nodding in greeting as she dumped her load onto a nearby workbench. I'm your assigned technician. It's a pleasure to meet you. Bakuga sized her up. She wasn't what he'd expected. No starry-eyed hero worship, no cowering at his reputation. Just cool professionalism. About fucking time, he growled, crossing his arms. You always keep your clients waiting? She didn't flinch at his tone, just raised an eyebrow. Only the ones who show up early, she replied smoothly. Now, I understand you're having issues with your gauntlets? He glanced at the clock on the wall. Shit, he was early. Yeah, he said, recovering quickly. He reached into his bag and pulled out the malfunctioning gear, tossing it onto the workbench. Firing mechanisms fucked. Blasts are weak, misfiring all over the place. Fix it. The technician's eyes lit up at the sight of the gauntlets, her hands already reaching for them. She tried to suppress a smile but failed. Fucking nerd. I see. And when did you first notice the issue? Was it a gradual decline in performance or a sudden malfunction? That was actually a good question. Gradual, he admitted grudgingly. Started about a month ago. Thought it was just wear and tear at first, but it kept getting worse. She nodded, her fingers delicately dancing over the gauntlets as she examined them. Any recent impacts or exposure to extreme temperatures? And how often do you clean the nitroglycerin storage system? No impacts. Been careful with the temp since the last fuck-up. And I clean it after every patrol. What do you take me for, an amateur? The technician looked up, meeting his glare with a level gaze. I take you for a professional who knows the importance of proper maintenance, she said. Now, have you noticed any changes in the viscosity of your sweat when using the gauntlets? Who the fuck was this woman? Yeah, actually, he said slowly. It's been thicker lately. Harder to ignite. She nodded, her fingers moving to the ignition mechanism. That could be part of the problem. The viscosity change might be throwing off the calibration. When was the last time you had the storage system's coating replaced? Bakuga scowled. Coating? What fucking coating? The technician looked up, surprise flashed across her face, then vanished. The hydrophobic coating on the interior of the storage system, she explained. It prevents your sweat from adhering to the walls, ensuring smooth flow to the ignition point. It needs to be replaced periodically, especially with quirks as potent as yours. Bakuga felt his face heat up, a mix of embarrassment and anger churning in his gut. How the fuck did he not know about this? And how did she know so much about his quirk? No one ever mentioned a fucking coating, he growled, his hands sparking. The technician didn't even flinch at the small explosions. Instead, she just nodded, her focus already back on the gauntlets. That explains a lot. The degradation of the coating would cause exactly the kind of issues you're experiencing. We'll need to strip it down, reapply the coating, and recalibrate the entire system. She looked up at him and smiled. I can fix this, Dynamite. But it's going to take time, and I'm going to need your cooperation. Think you can handle that? Bakuga bristled at her tone, ready to snap back. But something in her steady gaze and confident posture made him pause. This wasn't some simpering fan or cowering technician. This was someone who knew her shit, and wasn't afraid to call him on his. Fucking finally someone competent. Fine, he growled, uncrossing his arms. What do you need? A small smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. First, I need you to tell me everything about how these gauntlets interact with your quirk. Leave nothing out, no matter how small it might seem. Can you do that? Bakuga scanned the tech's face. Oh, I can do that. Question is, can you keep up? The technician's smile widened. Try me. You carefully lifted the gauntlet, cradling it like a newborn as your eyes drink in every detail. They were beautiful. It was heavier than you had originally suspected. Not good. Your fingers traced the simple yet effective mechanisms. So, when you activate your quirk, does the nitroglycerin flow evenly through all channels, or do you notice any variance? You asked, not taking your eyes off the equipment. Dynamite scowled, his arms crossed tightly over his rather toned chest. It's supposed to be even, but lately the left side's been weaker. And don't fucking manhandle it like that. Relax. I'm not going to break it. You turn the gauntlet over, examining the ignition mechanism. Though from the looks of it, someone's already done a number on these beauties. His scowl deepened, a vein throbbing in his forehead. The fuck is that supposed to mean? You shrugged, a small smirk playing on your lips. Just an observation. These modifications here. You pointed to a series of adjustments near the wrist. They're not part of the original design, are they? His chest puffed out. No, he growled. But they improved the response time. Ah! You nodded, your tone dry. That explains a lot. His eyes narrowed dangerously, and for a second you thought you fucked up. You were provoking a beast. A beast that easily blow up your measly, quirkless, weak self. And what the fuck is that supposed to mean? You set the gauntlet down gently, meeting his glare with a level gaze. No use backing down now. He wasn't about to intimate you in your space. It means, Dynamite, that while your modifications are creative, they've compromised the integrity of the original design. See here. You pointed to a hairline crack in the casing. And here, these stress points are weakening the entire structure. The hero gritted his teeth, his hands clenching at his sides. It fucking improved them. You certainly tried, you smirked. But unless your goal was to turn these into wearable pipe bombs, I'd say you missed the mark. He looked at you like you had just murdered his puppy. You darted your eyes to avoid looking at him. He literally was the embodiment of the expression if looks could kill. Who exactly did these modifications? Because whoever it was, they clearly didn't understand the delicate balance of the original design. You quickly added. His scowl deepened, if that was even possible. He looked like he was about to explode, figuratively and possibly literally. It was the head of my support department, Haruto. He said he could improve them. You couldn't help but let out a derisive snort. Well, Haruto did a horrible job. These alterations are amateur at best, dangerous at worst. The fuck did you just say? You met his glare head on. You reminded yourself that you had not hurt his puppy, nor were you responsible for this shitty job. I said Haruto did a horrible job. Look, you pointed to the gauntlet. He's compromised the structural integrity here and here. The flow regulators are completely off balance, which explains why your left side feels weaker. And don't even get me started on the ignition timing. You shook your head, genuinely appalled. This Haruto character should be embarrassed to have a hero wear this kind of crap. Whoever this Haruto is, he clearly doesn't understand the complexities of your quirk or the precision required for this level of support gear. These modifications aren't just ineffective, they're potentially hazardous. One wrong move, and these things could backfire spectacularly. So what the fuck are you saying? That I've been using fucked up gear this whole time? You nodded grimly. That's exactly what I'm saying. And frankly, it's a miracle you haven't had a serious malfunction yet. For a moment, you thought he might actually explode, and that this would the end to your short career. Death by being a smartass, your headstone would read. His whole body tensed, small pops emanating from his palms. But then, to your surprise, he deflated, much like a balloon that had been sitting on the sun for a day too long. Just fix the damn things, he growled. And you lived another day. You nodded, turning back to the gauntlets. As you bend over the workbench, you could feel his crimson eyes on you. The weight of his gaze sent a shiver down your spine. His eyes tracked every moment. Every time you touched something, he leaned in a bit closer. It was unnerving. It made you feel like a common criminal. You cleared your throat. So, about that left side weakness. When did you first notice it? As Dynamite launched into a detailed explanation, you let your eyes flick over to him. He was gesticulating wildly, his muscular arms flexing with each movement. Your gaze trailed down his body, taking in the way his hero costume clings to every defined muscle. He definitely did not look like Rubber Man. Not that did that matter, of course. All heroes were the same. You shook your head, forcing your attention back to the task at hand. Focus, damn it. You're a professional, not an ogling fan. And then it just fucking sputtered out. Dynamite finished, glaring at the offending gauntlet. You nodded, processing the information you did manage to get. All right, I think I see the problem. Or rather, problems. Plural. His eyebrow twitched. The fuck does that mean? You took a deep breath, no backing down, you reminded yourself. It means, Dynamite, that these gauntlets are a mess. A beautiful, complex mess, but a mess nonetheless. His hands sparked dangerously. Watch it, nerd. You ignored the threat and the jab. First off, the coding issue we discussed earlier? That's just the tip of the iceberg. The storage system is completely gunked up, which is throwing off the flow dynamics. Your modifications to the ignition system have created micro-fissures in the casing, which are letting in moisture and compromising the nitroglycerin stability. He opened his mouth to argue, but you plowed on. The left side weakness? That's because your improvements have put uneven stress on the firing mechanism. And don't even get me started on the calibration issues. You paused, meeting his furious red gaze. Simply put, Dynamite, these gauntlets are accidents waiting to happen. You're lucky they haven't blown up in your face yet. For a long moment he didn't speak, and all you could do was hold your breath. The explosion hero's face cycled through emotions, one quickly following the other. His anger was a wildfire, consuming his face. It was quickly replaced by a look of shock, indignation, and finally disgust. So what the fuck do we do about it? He demanded. You grinned. We fix it. More than that, we improve it. I've got some ideas that could take these from potential pipe bombs to precision instruments. Dynamite leaned in and crossed his arms across his broad, hard chest. Like what? We can redesign the storage system to be more efficient, allowing for larger blasts without increasing the overall size. A new alloy for the casing would improve durability while reducing weight. And if we reconfigure the ignition mechanism, we could give you finer control over your explosions, maybe even allow for different types of blasts. As you spoke, his anger faded, replaced by his brows furrowing together. He was following every word, occasionally nodding or frowning. Good, at least he had the brains to follow along. And the best part, you finished slightly breathless, is that we can incorporate some of your ideas too. That response time improvement? With a few tweaks, we can make it work without compromising the structural integrity. He was quiet for a long moment, something you thought was impossible, his red eyes boring into you. You met his gaze steadily, even if you were sure he could explode you with his eyes. People couldn't just get new quirks, right? He couldn't blow you up with his eyes, right? How long? Excuse me? How long to make all these fucking changes? He snapped. Good question, but God, did he need to be so snappy about it? Given the extent of the work, 2 weeks minimum. Probably closer to 3. Bakugo scowled. Too fucking long. I need them for patrol. You shook your head. Sorry, not happening, Dynamite. These gauntlets aren't safe in their current condition. I won't rush the job and risk your safety. He eyed you like you just kicked an old lady. The fuck did you say? Fuck this guy and that tone of his. You heard me. I won't half-ass this job just because you're impatient. You want these gauntlets fixed and improved? Then you'll give me the time I need to do it right. Hold your ground, damn it. Don't you dare give in. For a tense moment, though he might actually attack you. He could probably get away with murder, that is if there was still a body behind. But then, to your surprise, a smirk tugged at the corner of his mouth. Fine, he growled. 3 weeks. But they better be fucking perfect when you're done. And you live another day. Trust me, Dynamite. When I'm done with these, they'll be more than perfect. They'll be explosive.